Hello, this is Boca Rio Golf Course Superintendent Bob Ranquist with an update on golf course conditions and the golf course renovation project. Our golf course maintenance crew returned to work last Tuesday to begin cleaning up the damage Hurricane Irma caused to trees and other vegetation on the golf course. The worst tree damage occurred on holes number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, and 14, with less significant tree damage occurring on the remainder of the holes on the golf course. Because most of the turf areas on the golf course are newly established or recently planted, we are somewhat limited on the size and weight of equipment we can use to remove trees and limbs that are on the ground. We are concentrating on clearing brush from turf areas first to allow adequate sunshine to reach the grass and keep its growth rate from being negatively impacted. We will begin removing fallen limbs and trees from native areas after brush removal from turf areas is completed. So far, we have finished removing brush and debris from turf on holes number 4, 6, 11, 12, 13, and large portions of turf areas on holes number 1, 7, 8, and 9. It will take another 2 to 3 weeks to complete tree and limb removal from other playing areas on the golf course. Tiff-eagle Bermuda grass on the greens was established well enough to prevent serious erosion during Hurricane Irma. We have one small area on the slope between the front and back levels of number 17 green that had some minimal erosion occur. The eroded area is shallow and very narrow and will be easily repaired. The first 7 greens that were planted 10 weeks ago are completely covered with dense turf, and once we lower mowing heights a little more, these greens will be playable. Growth on the second and third set of greens that were planted is progressing well, and these greens will be fully covered with new turf in the next 2 to 3 weeks. We will begin verticutting and sand top dressing the second set of 6 greens and every other day mowing of the third set of 6 greens this week. Fairways and rough areas on holes number 9, 10, and the practice range were sprigged with latitude 36 Bermuda grass by Thursday before Hurricane Irma arrived on Sunday, completing planting of all play areas on the golf course. Planting of a few very small out-of-play areas will be completed this week. All sprigged areas on the golf course came through the storm in excellent condition, and soil erosion around the sprigs was minimal. Tee surfaces that were sprigged with Tiff-Grand Bermuda grass in the 2-week period before the storm were not impacted by the wind or heavy rains. Tiff-Grand sprigs that were planted on one half of the tees 2.5 weeks ago are rapidly establishing new plants, shoots, and roots. The first green shoots are emerging from the sprigs on the second half of tees that were planted 1.5 weeks ago. Establishment of the new Tiff-Grand turf on tees is getting off to a very good start. Full cover of latitude 36 turf on fairways and roughs on holes number 7, 11, 12, 13, and 14 is almost complete. Holes number 15, 16, 17, 5, 6, and 8 are 60 to 80% covered with new latitude 36 turf, and newer sprigs on holes number 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 18, and the practice range have established new plants that are beginning to spread rapidly between the sprig rows. We will continue to fertilize these areas frequently to encourage rapid development of the new turf. We were without electrical service at our irrigation pump station for all of last week. Our generator was hooked up to the pump station, allowing us to continue watering newly planted areas throughout the week. FPL crews arrived on Saturday and trimmed trees and repaired damaged lines to get us back in service. Without the generator, we could have lost ground on turf establishment in the last areas that were planted the past 2 weeks. Instead, turf establishment stayed on schedule for an opening date in early to mid-November. We also received 0.7 of an inch of rain on Thursday afternoon that helped keep newly planted areas damp enough to promote new turf growth. We will continue to update you weekly on the progress of our storm damage cleanup and turf grow-in efforts. Thank you for the support, patience, encouraging comments you have offered during this challenging time.